there, Alan. You're the first of your group to arrive today. How are you doing?
I'm doing A-okay for an old man. How are you, Sam?
I'm doing all right for a semi-old woman.
Well, you certainly don't look anywhere near like an old or semi-old woman.
I don't look a day over 75, I've been told, right, Manny?
Right.
Oh, look who's coming up here. We got your optimistic buddy.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey
guys.
everybody.
Hey, Dennis.
Howdy.
Hey,
Hey.
how's y'all? Sam, could I have a scotch and soda, please? Kind of light, not too heavy, but
Over the
just a
rocks?
scotch and soda, and just the shelf, not the expensive stuff. I'm kind of on a budget. Would you please?
Okay, that's fine. Alan?
I want a bottle of your finest Hill Country Fair purified drinking water, please.
Okay, and Manny?
I'll stick with a beer.
All right, a beer. All right, I'll get you
Beer.
off tap. I'll get you off the tap. There's a special too.
Oh,
Yeah, tap, 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 tap.
It's
tap.
it's the best stuff. You'll tell me. It's the best.
Oh yeah.
Top beers. You like top beers?
Top
hey,
beer.
gentlemen, how y'all doing this week? I tell you what, I have been feeling my age. You guys have that? Yeah, I mean, I know you're the youngsters in the group. You were babies when I was like because I'm 77 this year. But I'm telling you, it's an amazing experience to experience this aging process.
Yeah, it is. It's funny because
Thank you.
as I was coming to the table, I overheard Alan and Sam talking about old men and old ladies, and Alan, you're right. Miss Sam, she don't look a day over 75. Now,
I heard that.
she's No.
Hey! She's bringing you your beer. You don't want to see what she does into your beer, so I would just hold off on
you know
that,
what?
on your humor, Manny. That is not that. I'm telling you, she's a vindictive sort.
I heard that too.
But I already have my drink. See, you got to know how to time it. You got to get your drinks first and
purified
then
water
throwing
baby.
shade.
Hey, but I've eaten my share of greasy spoons and Mexican restaurants, so I'm used to spitting my food. So,
Ay, caramba, man! You better watch. All right. Anyway,
I know.
Eba.
I'm bringing the jokes. All right, I'm bringing the jokes.
Yeah.
None of that's true. And Miss Sam, she's a beautiful, beautiful lady. And I do appreciate her. Best bartender in the world. And
lay it on, baby.
and
Lay it on thick.
I know I'm laying it on thick, but every word is true.
Well, I don't say it's not true, but it certainly is.
Magic
Certainly
8-ball.
is a lot of palaver. Yeah, thank you. What? Hey, you did bring the 8-ball. I asked you to do that. What does it have to? All right, so we ought to ask it a question, or what? How does that thing work? Tell us about. We've had that for many years. What? Tell us about it.
Okay, well, you ask the Magic 8-ball a question, and a true or false question, and it'll give you a true or false-ish kind of answer. So, like today, our question is Dennis decrepit?
All right. Is Dennis decrepit?
Yes, definitely is what it says.
Wonderful. Now let's define decrepit, because I would love to, because we need to think about things on how, because our definition could be different than what it is just in the dictionary. I think my hopelessness is decrepit. My hopelessness is just on its last legs and going out the door. My cynicism. Oh my God, it's so decrepit. It's sitting over there in the bed about to take its last breath. So those aspects of me are decrepit. As an optimist, that's what we have to have. We have to make sure and watch all those things that might creep into my optimism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I gotta say something. Dennis, you came in and you asked, you said something about feeling your age. And I hear that term all the time.
Yep.
And I wonder, what does that mean? What does it mean to feel your age?
Yeah.
Like what does that mean to you, Dennis and Alan? What does that mean?
Well, I think of it with me. Y'all have had laptop batteries, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
we've all had laptops, and we had laptop batteries. And what feeling my age means is that my battery when I'm working, it works good or better than it ever is, but it doesn't seem like the charge lasts as long. So what I'm
Ah,
feeling at age is that I seem to get into that warning, battery draining, area more quickly than I did 10 years ago. So I guess that's what I mean by feeling my age, because I mean, I'm sharp as a tack, I think, but now I don't know. Would anybody tell me if I wasn't?
Well, I don't know
I mean,
because
that's a hard conversation to have with your friend, and they go, Dennis, I think you may be losing a step there mentally. How do you know? How would I know? I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
How do you define it, Alan?
yeah.
I define it. Well, I think what you said is a pretty good definition because I know one of the things that I have noticed, particularly since I had COVID back in January, is that I just can't get as much stuff done as I used to. I wear out, conk out. Now, I can't go outside and work on, repair stuff like I used to on the house because I get tired and I get worn out. I can't climb around the roof like I used to. I mean, I do get up there because I have to, but I just, I have to be I'm really, really careful when I'm on the roof doing stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah, I think that's
I just can't do what I used to do. Even when I get the same amount of rest, stretch out before I get started the same way I always did, and eat, good food. I just don't have the same reserves
Sure.
of energy and resilience and stick with itness.
Yeah. All right.
yeah. I
All
think
right.
we're all
That makes sense. So we also have to be adaptive when we do. Well, Manny,
mhm.
do you experience this too?
Yeah, what y'all are saying is absolutely true. I always put it, not being able to bounce back like we used to. Uh,
Mhm.
your analogy about the battery running down or not, taking the charge like it used to. I mean, that's a good analogy, using modern terms. But yeah, you just don't feel. I mean, in your mind, I mean, in my mind, I'm still 25.
Yeah.
But my body tells me, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, yeah, I
it
get that, but
reminds me. It's like, no, you're
sure.
not 25. You're 70, not 70. You're 68. And I
And
think
I'm
that's what we
going to be
mean when we say
65.
feeling.
You'll be 65, Alan,
Yeah, in
Yeah,
November.
in
he's
November. So you're
the,
you're you're coming up to the Medicare the Medicare group as we're getting up there, right?
yeah.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
he's he's the
I'm in
baby.
fact, I'm so poor. I'm so poor. I'm not going to have to pay for my Medicare. That's how poor I am. They're going to just no, and same thing with my Medicare drug plan. That's how poor I am.
Well, we will work on that on many different things. But I mean, it reminds me of that old saw. Uh, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Okay.
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah,
To silence. He
I've
says
heard
that.
that.
Yeah,
I think it's a country song. I quote it all the time. That's a good one. That's
that is a good
okay.
one. Yeah.
I am unfamiliar with
Thanks.
that particular
Well, that's just.
approach.
But I'm just wondering about that because even though I mean we talk about that, but there have got to be as an optimist, I try to look at the bright side of things. I try to say that all right, what are the advantages of old age? What of this place that we're in? I mean, where I am and where we're going. We got to think of what some of the advantages. There's got to be some positives of being in the senior group, isn't there?
Well, there's a song. Always look on the bright side of life. Do-do, do-do, do-do.
Yeah, exactly. And this is as they're hanging out there on the cross, as they're
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
this is
Yeah,
Life of
the
Brian,
life of
right? I mean,
Brian.
that's just
Life
Yeah.
of Brian. Yeah, yeah.
and you know
Brian,
they actually sing that they actually do that in the UK. You'll hear
uh-huh.
that at funerals. They'll have the entire people that are there.
Yeah.
I think that's a grand tradition. You know, they started it. I think when all the remaining Pythons were at Graham Chapman's funeral, and they sang it.
Yeah.
I think that's where it kind of spread out from. That's a grand tradition.
I
Well,
love it.
Irish wakes.
Yeah.
It's a party. It's not,
That's
everybody
right.
go sad.
Right. Well,
I
yeah, all
think,
right. Well, these things are fine, but we're not going to be there.
no.
When
Yeah,
that happens,
no.
when your funeral or
Well,
my funeral or Manny's funeral, whichever one of, unless the three of us are in a car and go over a cliff, like what's the
Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise.
unless
Yeah.
we do that, then we're all one of us is going to attend the funeral of the other people, either virtually or access. So that means that the other person is not going to get a chance to have this party. So let's talk about. I'm interested in what we're having now. What is what do you think is better now than was when you were younger, or what are the advantages and what might be the advantages of this age? That's what I'm
Well,
trying to hear. Help me with my positivity.
I don't know if advantage is the right word, but the thing that I've noticed is I have a much more broader understanding of the world, than I did when I was 25. I think with age comes with age comes wisdom. With age comes
But doesn't that require you to keep an open mind?
Yeah,
because I find when I've closed my mind off, I don't grow.
Yeah,
I already think I know it all. I think
Yeah.
I think that to me, that is the danger.
Oh yeah,
of
yeah.
running these treads so often.
Yep.
Well, what I found is I agree with Manny. I wish I knew when I was 25 the things I know now.
Would you have listened?
I'm just saying I wish I knew those things, not me going back and telling me. I wish I knew and understood things about the world at 25 that I do now, because there's a lot of things I would have done very differently than what I actually ended up doing.
Exactly.
And I would probably be in a very different place right now than where I was when I was, where I have actually. Okay, I would be in a very different place now if I had known back then the things that I know now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, not everybody who gets old is wise.
No, but I'm just talking about us guys. We got to do this.
I'm just saying we need to recognize that just because you're old doesn't mean you know anything and that you're wise. You just may be an inbred old bigot.
Okay.
I'm not saying you are, Dennis.
You work on my inbred bigotry and make sure that you rattle me up to make sure and get it off.
You're not a bigot, Dennis.
I know, but what I'm saying is that I know I have some biases that I won't know that I just want to make sure and keep fresh. I want to make sure that however it is, I think there might be some advantages to getting some type of forgetting and stuff. Imagine if you have a favorite program, a really favorite television show or movie. You could watch it every single day and it would be a really fresh and new experience. Think of what you'd save on streaming. Think of what you do. You would just sit there and just go. But every day you would annoy people. You go, I just saw the most wonderful thing. Here he goes again. Here he goes.
It'd be 51st Dates Old Person Edition.
Exactly. It'd be the Groundhog Day, the awfulness of the Groundhog Day Old Man Edition, right?
Yeah.
Well, I thank goodness that I'm not there yet.
No,
I do worry about it, but it's not something that I wrestle with right now. You know, my mind
Yeah,
is still pretty clear.
that I can attest to that. Well, do you worry differently than you did when you before? I mean, because that's one of the things I feel like I have a less intense relationship with worry. I mean, some
Yeah,
of the things, you know, because I think about it. Well, the debt don't pay rent or taxes, or well, there are a lot of stuff that is on my mind that certainly won't be on my mind. So I'm just trying to think of how worry changes that I don't really like. I don't worry as much about what other people think of me. And that was the
yeah.
big issue when I was all the time when I was younger. I was constantly focused on what are they thinking? What are they thinking? What are they thinking? You know, how am I coming across? How am I,
You know, I now that I think about it, that is maybe the biggest advantage of growing old is that you just don't care anymore about stuff that, I mean, you care, but you don't care about stuff that used to seem so freaking important back in the day. You know, now it's like, why was I worried about that? You know, like you said about what other people think of you, or you know, all
yeah.
this other stuff. It's like none of that matters. You know, I think that's the thing. That's maybe that's the advantage that you're talking about, is that at our age we have gained perspective about life. We have
Oh,
gained,
perspective.
Ooh, that's a good
Ah,
word. That's a good
great
word.
word.
you know, and so that maybe that's our advantage. And if we can somehow pass that on, and you know, like Alan said about not knowing, or knowing stuff now that you know you didn't know back when you were young, or wishing you knew stuff, the
Right.
stuff that you know now. Uh, and I think that maybe that's our responsibility, is as these old men, to pass on our wisdom, or I don't know if you should call it wisdom, but to pass on the things that we've learned to the younger generation. Now, whether they'll listen to us, that's on them,
Well, no,
you
no, yeah,
know.
exactly.
But we got to say, hey, you know what? This is what we went through, and you know, I'm not telling anybody that they shouldn't. All I'm saying is this is our experience, and you know, you can take it or leave it. You know, I mean, everybody's got to learn. Sometimes you got to learn the hard way. Sometimes you got to fall and skin your knees to know, oh, maybe I shouldn't walk, you know, barefoot down this path, or you know, or whatever. But so I think that's all we can do, you know, is say, hey, we got to be this age because you know we learned a thing or two along the way. You know, I mean, the late comedian. It's like Richard Pryor once said, "Yeah, there's a lot of young wise men, but they're all dead now."
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I can't. Yeah, let me ask you guys about this because I think about that because whether or not I would have listened to me, what we listened to us when we have, but my sense is this is that the best opportunity for us to do is to model what a great old age would be. And then people can look at us and look at the examples of what we're doing and say, wow, now there might be a way to, you know, because if we model it, if we actually go out there and model a great old man to be able to say, all right, I, my life is rich, it's interesting. Yeah, there are problems, as anybody has problems. I mean, anybody, there's nobody. Elon Musk has problems. Everyone has problems that are as big as they can deal with and figure it out. So that's not going to be it. But can we live the quality of life that has to be meaningful?
right? Yep, absolutely, absolutely. You know,
Oh
Well, yeah,
no, it's
man,
like the,
Sam,
it's
this
like
is
the,
this is good Scots. Thank you, dear.
the
You
whole
went to the
modeling
top.
thing.
Sam went to the top shelf. She didn't do that. She didn't just go around. You know what? She's really nice, and that's what I'm telling you about, Manny. Well, you don't want to be. You don't want to be messing with her. When you're nice to her, you get the top shelf stuff, even when you have to pay the regular.
oh, she knows, she knows,
Yeah,
she
well,
knows,
all right, all right.
she knows she
Well,
loves me.
I was going to say, you know, the whole modeling thing, you know, talking about will they listen to us, you know, versus modeling. You know, I've discovered one of the things about younger folks is we need to treat them with the same kind of respect that we demand from them. And that means don't give them unsolicited advice. Don't call them stupid. Don't act like they don't know anything. And too many old people, they go around with this sense of entitlement. I have a right to tell you what to do because I'm an old person. Well, excuse my
Yep.
language, fuck that shit.
No,
Yeah.
thank you. They have just as much validity for what they have as we. You know, and that's oh God, I love that, Alan. Damn, that is some
Yes.
that's some
Yep.
heavyweight wisdom there.
Yep. Yep.
That's
Well,
why we invite them to the table, right, Manny?
That's right. Yeah.
I get tired of hearing people bitching about young people and acting like, you know,
Yeah.
some kind of other, I'm old, I'm better than you are. It's like, no, no, you know,
No.
everybody's got a certain amount of respect that they are owed just because they're a human being. Now, if you're a shitty human being, your respect level is real small.
It's going to be
But
exactly the same thing. You know, I was thinking about that because I go to the doctor with the VA, and they'll ask me a question. They'll ask me and say, "Well, have you fallen?" That's one of the normal. When you guys get up there and you start, they're going to ask you like, "Well,
they
have you
ask me that.
fallen?" And I hadn't at that time. I did recently at HEB. I tripped on a curb and fell, but I was fortunately wasn't hurt. But so I can't say that anymore. Now I have to say that. And so I realized, wait a minute. The only answer I can give is no to anything whatsoever. No, not yet. Have you won an Oscar? No, not yet. It's always yet. Any single thing that I can think of is not yet. It's always to put it that way, and that leaves it open instead of closing off my mind to what's possible. It leaves it open. It's
Hmm.
not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. I like that. That's a.
Yeah, well, I can say I have fallen several times, but mainly because it was last year I was outside working on cutting down an aerial next to my house that had a great big television antenna, and I got it out, but it was hung up in the tree, and I was trying to get it unhung from the tree, and the limb I was cutting on came the wrong way and caught me right here in the center of my chest, flung me off of the step ladder, and I landed flat on my back on the ground.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
And
Wow.
then a couple days later, something very similar happened, except I didn't get hit with anything. I didn't get hit with a limb. I got hit with well, no, it was a limb. Yeah. So that happened to me twice in like the space of 2 weeks.
Wow.
Cracked a few ribs. It was not fun.
Ow.
I
Yeah.
still have like a dent right here in my
yeah.
chest.
Mm.
Oh man, yeah. Where it just that just the kind of thing that just kind of stays with you. You know, I was thinking about you know how on the senior tour when what they have this for the sports, you know, and that they you know you go from different tees and you have a different you know we're in our senior time, so I love the fact that if we can just do that, if we can just have and one of the things I'm learning is that I have to be more compassionate with myself than I have before. That my peace of mind is in inverse proportion to how much I criticize myself and how much self judgment I have, and that's one of the biggest things that just absolutely screws with my peace of mind.
I can certainly understand that because I don't know about either of your childhoods, but I know in my childhood I had my father was very critical of me all the time, and that little voice lives in my head. Actually, it's a big voice, and it's it's just only been in the last, I'd say, 10 years that I really realized I needed to, that voice was not true, but it's still hard to get rid of. I still catch myself on a daily basis being hypercritical of myself when I didn't need to be hypercritical.
Yep.
Like I catch myself apologizing for things that I don't need to apologize for, because back when I was a kid, I had to walk on eggshells not to set off the explosive device that was my father.
Unfortunately, yep.
And then we take that voice and we amplify it. Even after it's off, we work it, and because it gets so habitual that we end up doing it, and it ends up doing tremendous damage to us. It damages our ambition. It damages our productivity. It's a stunning, horrible thing.
It is. It really is. I think the biggest example of that I can remember was when I moved back down here from Oklahoma after I bailed out on that church up there because they were getting ready to ride me out of town on a rail. I showed up with the biggest U-Haul truck that you can rent, pulling a car on a trailer. And my father said, "Wow, I didn't think you could do something like that."
Oh,
I thought it was a compliment. Yeah, just. And then I got those kind of compliments frequently.
Oh man, guys, I thank you. Listen, I got to run. But I love our times together.
Dennis, don't run, man. Walk.
Thank you. You're always going to help. You're always going to give me an upgrade. That's one of the things. Is that it's like the AARP. Come to Alan, you get an upgrade. You get an upgrade because he always does that for us, right, man?
That's right.
That's what I try to do.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, we'll head on out. All right.
Well, I'm going to finish my beer.
All right, finish your beer, and then we'll see you next week, guys.
Will you put this on my tab? All right, guys.
Sure.
Listen, I love you guys, and I'll see y'all next week. Have a lovely week, and go do something productive. Be kind to yourself, okay?
Okie dokie.
Sure.